Hello guys, welcome to me on the streets of Guelph. I'm here with Sara Sayyed. She's the senior advisor for equity, anti-racism, and indigenous initiatives. How are you doing today, Sarah?
Doing good, thanks. Thanks for having me here today.
So it's just funny. We're just here right in front of City Hall. Cold day
Yes.
today. Oh man, I can't even imagine. So I don't know what's going on.
Lots going on. Yeah, the weather's changed, and it's I guess well into fall now, so we should expect a little bit of the chill. But lots going on at City Hall. I've just moved into this position in the end of August, so
Okay.
the first 3 months have been quite full of a lot of learning, a lot of getting to know people within the corporation, and continuing some work on the community plan.
Okay, now before we jump into some questions, who is Sara Sayyed?
Sarah, it's Sara Sayyed, and I don't know, she's a complex person, I guess. Longtime Guelph resident, but born in Hamilton.
Okay.
Mom to 3 kids. Enjoys reading, but wishes she had more time for that. And just, enjoys spending time with family and friends and that kind of stuff.
Oh, nice. The first question is your role as a senior advisor for equity and anti-racism and indigenous initiatives is in the spotlight. So, what's the framework?
Yeah, it's definitely been in the spotlight, and I think a lot of the municipalities, especially in this region, have been hiring positions similar to mine, and there's been a lot of work going forward. And I think municipalities are really getting serious about addressing the racism and the issues of equity that we have around the city. So my framework is to build on what we started with the community plan. And really we've been talking a lot to community members and really have heard from them what their needs are, what some of the issues are for them, and the barriers they're facing. And so it's time to start addressing those with some tangible actions and an action plan. We've also, earlier this year, the city signed on to a coalition of inclusive municipalities with UNESCO, which is a commitment to forming an overall anti-racism action plan and eliminating systemic barriers. So we're going to get serious about those recommendations and get some work done.
Yeah, right. Now, as you might know, most of the marginalized communities, their concerns have been a little bit overlooked and kind of put aside. So, what are your strategies to, combat this concept?
Yeah, traditionally there's been a lot of groups that have been marginalized, and it's going to take our city and I think in general for government, it needs a lot of trust building exercises. We have to build that trust with those communities and show that we are ready to do the work. And I think through the community plan, we really reached out to a lot of those communities and heard some of their needs. And I think the biggest thing will be tangible actions towards those works to build the trust, to say that yes, we are listening and yes, we are acting on what you need, and work towards a continuous engagement framework, not just when there's an issue to talk to a group, but really just continually having those conversations.
Now, talking about trust, as you can see, some of these groups, there's a lot of hesitancy towards all these groups, trusting the government or believing in what they say. So, based on this fact, what are your strategies to kind of convince these groups that you guys actually are going to help them out?
Yeah, so I think, again, the first step will be to actually make some tangible actions and say, this is what we are hearing from you. I think one of the biggest things we've heard is the creation of safe space. So that would be one of the first kind of goals to look into what the city can do to create safe spaces, both indoors and outdoors, for people to gather and for people to come together and have a sense of self. One of my main projects in the upcoming year will be to bring in what we call an equity lens. And so looking at all of our processes and programs while questioning, who is being affected by them, and how do we make these more equitable
Okay.
and accessible to the people who actually need them. So those are some of the action plans I have
Okay.
in place, and it's getting chilly out
Yeah.
here.
I know. We'll wrap
So
it up.
and yeah, I think the biggest thing will be really putting to the words with actions, and showing people that we are serious about listening to what their needs are and continually engaging them.
Okay. Now, based on what you said, do you have support from now the administration, the city staff, and the community members? Because sometimes some of the community members are in denial, saying there's no need for this initiative, there's no need for the position, there's no need to roll out, things to help this group. So how can you deal with it?
Well,
do you have this support?
Yeah,
from?
I mean, in general, I have a lot of support within
Okay.
the city. Otherwise, they would not have created a position such as this, right? Council approved it, which is huge. That means we have support from kind of all corners of the city.
Okay.
To do this, when I was appointed to the position, the support and the comments and the messages I got were fantastic, and so there's a lot of support.
Okay.
Of course, there's always going to be pushback. There's always going to be questions, and I mean, I'm open to that discussion. I'm open to
right.
those criticisms, because that's the way we move forward, right? To really address the root causes and figure out how we can make that work.
Yeah, that sounds good. The last question before we wrap up, because it's
Sure.
getting chilly out here. What are the policy changes that we expect in the coming years based on this? Because you've mentioned a lot and you're planning a lot. So what are we going to expect in the coming years, like as for policy
So
change?
I'm going to say, first of all, at the end of November, there's a report coming out to council, which will then be public, of course, and it already outlines some of the changes that are already going on. So even before my position was created, there was a lot of good stuff happening. So in all the different departments, there's stuff happening, and the staff is really focusing on trying to bring equity into their processes, and then is the next big thing will be looking at these recommendations to with UNESCO and the Coalition of Inclusive Municipalities, and acting on those, and that will talk about just ways to engage our youth, to engage gender equity issues, to talk about reconciliation, and work on some really positive, tangible steps towards those. So that's what we'll be looking for in the future.
So we just decided to have you aside. Someone who might not know, Sara is a very good friend of mine. We've been crossing each other in many community engagements,
Yes.
like community gardening and so on. So we really appreciate you in our city, what you've been doing and what you could be doing in the near future. And definitely we need to support you. We need a lot of people to support this initiative, because actually it's going to be a tough job.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it's going to be easy. There's a lot of systemic barriers that we'll have to work at and get those changes made to make our system, our city, more equitable, especially for our children, for our grandchildren. And I think that's the important thing. We live in a beautiful city, so let's keep it that way and keep working to make it even better for everyone, right?
Say progress, yeah.
Progress it is.
Yeah.
So thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much. So we're going to wrap it up very cut, and have a wonderful weekend, and thanks for coming out.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.